Well, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Tree of Life Unitarian Universalist Congregation and our last service in this building. Can you believe it? So my name's Ron Relic. I use he, him pronouns, and your worship leader this morning. And while I read the announcements, please take out your cell phone, your device, and put it on silent so that we don't have any disturbances during the presentations. So we've been in this building for about 15 years. Can you believe it? I can hardly believe it. 15 years of memories and growing. As we prepare to move to our new home in Crystal Lake, we want to create a memory book of this place and time in our congregational life. You'll find a table just outside the sanctuary as you go out with paper and special pens for writing down some of your memories, some of your thoughts to commemorate this moment. Some memories of the building, perhaps, the times you've had here. You can add your name to the journal box, or you can remain anonymous. Leave your journal paper on the table there, and we'll be adding them to a community memory book for all of us to enjoy for the many years to come. We also invite you to share photographs. Now, these are photographs from events here, perhaps. You bring your photos to church, or you can give them to Judy Stetner, and you can email them to her, stetner.judy, you see it up there, stetner.judy@gmail. Easy enough, or just find Judy, as we've always done, and not going to be doing that much longer. We got a lot of work done getting things ready for the moving truck. It will be coming on Monday, May 4. And that'll move us into our new home in Crystal Lake. But we need your help to get the rest done before that date. So again, you could join us at the packing party. We had one yesterday. We have one coming up this next Saturday between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. Welcome anybody, come any time that you have. If you have all the time, if you want to come, we have pizza, we have water, we have a lot of fun, and many hands make for light work, as you know. We have work available for all abilities, and you can just stop in for an hour or two, or come for the whole day. Now, next week, just some reminders. Next week, the service is at Prairie Circle in Grays Lake, our sister congregation, and it is a coming-of-age service. So our coming-of-age students will be featured in that service. They'll be speaking at that service. So it is an important service. If you can make it, we'd appreciate it, because they've done a lot of work and a lot of preparation this whole year, and usually are giving faith statements or some kind of presentation, and we'd like to participate in that. Now, the first Sunday in the new space will be May 10th, Mother's Day. It is also our flower communion. So you can bring flowers, and we'll be in the new space. If you go to the building, it's the building to the right. The sanctuary, if you go down the street there, the sanctuary is right in the center there, entrance to the building, and we are to the right there, in their, basically the building that's their fellowship hall, and that's where we're going to be having our services. And we have a lot more rooms in the building and all of that storage, and you'll be able to see all of that. Then, the thing to remind yourself of is that we have a new worship time. The worship time will be 10 a.m., not 10:45. It will be 10 a.m. We are going to go at the same time as the Presbyterian service there. So we'll all be going at the same time and finishing at the same time, so that we can have a little fellowship time afterwards, and that will be included as well. And finally, we want to get to know you, answer your questions. If you're new to Tree of Life, we hope you've filled out the green card that you were offered at the visitor table. Online visitors, you can fill out our visitor card that's posted in the chat. We invite you to join us after the service for conversation. We'll have some treats. We are a friendly bunch, and we always welcome a chance to get to know you. And so we begin our service.
Good morning. I want to make sure that we pause for a moment and begin by acknowledging the land. Whether you join us with embodied presence to this space or join us with online presence, will you pause with me in gratitude for our time here together for the past about 15 years? The land on which the Tree of Life Unitarian Universalist congregation has gathered is the unceded territory of the Peoria, Potawatomi, Miami, Ochethi, Sakowin, Ho-Chunk, and Kickapoo peoples. Today, our meeting place in Illinois is still home to many indigenous people. We are grateful to have the opportunity to gather on this land.
Good morning. I'm Chaplain Dave Becker. I use he, him pronouns, and you can refer to me or call me Chaplain Dave or Pastor Dave or just Dave, whatever feels most comfortable and meaningful to you. As Ron said, today is a special day of gratitude, of remembrance, of celebration. A celebration of transition and change. Today we celebrate and remember this building and these grounds that have been our church home for 15 years. We remember the ways that we've grown and changed in this space as people. And we celebrate what we take with us as we move forward, as we continue to grow and change. And as a congregation, we've been through lots of changes before. We are part of a larger Unitarian and Universalist and Unitarian Universalist tradition that's grown and changed since the Christian Reformation movements of the 16th century. We sing and we speak and read from a living tradition and a changing faith tradition, a living tradition, a living journey. And our congregation, this congregation, has roots that go back to 1855, formed by Universalists and abolitionists. Since 1855, this congregation has had 5 different names. This congregation has lived in 3 different homes, including this home, soon to be 4, right? We're no strangers to change, to new beginnings, and to continuing together in our shared commitments guided by love. So if you've never gone to the history page of our website, I encourage you to do that, especially now, while they're just to get that full picture of our history. And there's a wonderful sermon by a previous minister, Jen Grayson, that gives that history in a beautiful way. So encourage you to look at that. Again, we celebrate this building and space today. But what we're truly celebrating is us. We're celebrating this community. We're celebrating those of us who are here today, here in person, and we're celebrating those who are online. So I'd like to take a moment. Often we do this later in the service, but to please bring the people online. If you're online, if you're willing and able, please turn on your camera so that we can see you. And we'll just have this time together. Yeah, feel free to wave if you'd like. But we'll leave this view up for a while for the remainder of my opening words. Just a reminder that we are one community. Not only the people in this room, but the people who are online, as well as the people who just weren't able to make it this Sunday, who are in some other place and time. Yeah, you're okay. Thanks. Awesome. We celebrate who we are together as a community, and we also celebrate who we are individually. And we have many other changes and celebrations ahead besides our move. In the weeks ahead, we'll be celebrating Judy Stetner and all that she's given to this community in her time as a congregational administrator, sharing her joy in being able to move into retirement and her transition from a staff member to a congregational member. We're welcoming new staff. We welcome Cheryl Voss, who started with us recently, and we've been getting to know and appreciate the gifts and talents that she brings to our community. And then our newest staff member, Yule Millhouse, who has just begun a few weeks ago, but is beginning with great energy and great enthusiasm. And everybody who's had a chance to interact with Yule is falling in love pretty quickly. As Ron said, we'll be celebrating an amazing coming of age ceremony with seven youth that are part of this congregation and our sibling congregation, our congregation Prairie Circle. Something that might have seemed unimaginable a few short years ago, that we would be doing a coming of age service with 7 youth, and we would be doing that in partnership with another congregation. Who knows what's ahead? Today, our youth leader, Freddie Funnel, is celebrating his birthday. Our Tree of Life member and today's speaker, Chaplain Mariela Gonzalez, recently updated her speaker bio. You might not have caught this. If you read her speaker bio, you might have noticed that there was a new piece, ACPE Certified Educator, a recent incredible personal and professional achievement that's following years of training, professional development, clinical hours, and board review through the Association of Clinical Pastoral Education, in which Mariela is now not only a chaplain, but is a board-certified teacher, trainer, teacher, and supervisor of new and emerging chaplains. So that's worth applause as well. Yeah. And as an add note, Mariela was my trainer, my teacher, when I was first going through CPE and working as a chaplain. We have a lot to celebrate and much to be grateful for. And in this day, when we gather to celebrate in this space, one last time before we move on, we'll be taking some extra time to remember, to cherish memories, to share each other's memories and hopes and dreams and stories. So just a general reminder to take good care of yourself during this service. If you need to wiggle, do so. If you need to stand and stretch, do so. If you need to use the restroom or get a drink of water or grab a tissue or laugh out loud or sketch or doodle, do so. As the song says, when the Spirit says do, you've got to do right along. And this is a do right along kind of service. So come, let us celebrate all that we've been, all that we are, and all that we are becoming. Come, let us worship together.
We shall now light our chalice, and while Linda Wallen reads our chalice lighting poem, online participants, you're invited to light your own chalice at home. Linda?
We light this chalice of a reminder of who we truly are. We are our shared values manifest in our lives and then in the world. Sanctuary is where we make it. Wherever we are, that time and space is sacred. Anywhere, everywhere. Our shared values have presented us the opportunity to be resilient and creative any place in the world. We are our choices of love and equality. We are our vision of plurality and interdependence. We are our acts of justice and generosity. We are living transformation. We are a living tradition. Here, there, everywhere, our beloved community is boundless.
Please join in recalling our mission statement. At Tree of Life UUC, we nurture a community that welcomes diversity, supports the spiritual growth of its members, and acts to create a more just society.
Good morning. My name is Heather Medaus. I use she, her pronouns. I have a Wonderbox story, but before we start the story, I would like to acknowledge the room we are in. Whichever room you are in, if you are at home, you can look around your own space. You've sat in that space before and enjoyed our worship services and participated from home. If you're sitting here in our sanctuary, if you're sitting over here in our Create Cafe area, everyone take a look and imagine what these walls have absorbed. I was moved to tears a few weeks ago when Till Spitza shared a piece that he had written about our building and about the many events the walls have seen. His words stayed with me and they inspired me to talk about the Wonderbox Story today. And they became a part of my own story in this building, so thank you, Till. We have lived inside these walls for a long time, 15 years. These walls have heard our laughs, our crying, our singing. They are sacred and they are special to us. And they will be cared for and loved by a new community that will add to their story. And these walls, while they hold our stories, they don't tell our stories, do they? We do that. We tell our stories. So today, we're inviting you to be an artist with your own memories. So for the Wonderbox, I'm going to need at least 2 volunteers. And I see people ready and willing and able. And I saw Victor too, so if Victor wants to join us, he's, well, oh, okay. He can join us when he's ready. All right, so why don't we ask our friends here what's in the Wonderbox?
Oh, that's a spider.
A volunteer.
So apparently we have a spider. Surprise.
Pretty big spider.
Thank goodness for giving me this. We have a jar. We can trap him in the jar. Oh, he's in the box. He's in the box. He's in the box. Rocks and some sea glass and cloth.
Okay, so we have an empty jar, and Des is holding some sea glass. All right. So let's hold up one of those nice bright pieces of sea glass, so everyone can see it. Some stories are easy to tell. They are like this bright, shiny stone. Maybe it's a memory of a potluck, and you can put it in the jar. Or maybe it's a memory of a holiday pageant. We put them into our community jar so that everyone can see the light shining through them. But telling a story isn't just saying what happened. As Mariela will talk about, it's asking, where do I know this from? Do I know it from my heart, from the Chalice circles that we've participated in, from my skin, from a moment that I felt brave enough to stand up here and tell my story for the first time, from the next day after moving things around when all my muscles were sore, or from my nose when we got our first indication that the basement had flooded, from our taste buds as we shared a Thanksgiving turkey together. Maybe we know our story from the sting of a Nerf dart that knocking us out of a competition. Oh wait, I forgot. That never happened, never mind. Do we know it from deep in the dirt when we pulled up weeds? Do we know it from when we planted flowers? Do we know it like the buzz of a chainsaw we can still feel vibrating through our arms? Or do we still hear the story of a wood chipper buzzing in our ears? We get to look closely at all of these pieces before we share them. So then there are stories that feel heavy or feel scary. And perhaps we need to take a step back and listen to our own needs first. Sometimes that means deciding that a story isn't ready yet. It stays in sacred silence, and Victor can hold up our sacred silent stone. Can you hold that up for everyone to see, Victor? Okay. Good job, Victor. And so that stone is still part of our story, but maybe we hold it close to our hearts. We recognize that there are parts of our shared story that we may never see or hear from each other, and that is okay too. So why don't we go ahead and fill up that jar with the rest of the glass? Maybe Victor could put some in. And as we leave this building, we aren't leaving our stories behind with the walls. We'll take the jar with us. We've integrated our past, the bright parts and the quiet, heavy parts, into who we are right now. And because we know our stories so well, we aren't walking into the future empty-handed. We're walking into our possibility with a jar full of light. Thank you. All right, thank you, Zayden and Victor and Des.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do a round of Come, Come, Whoever You Are. We've sung it many times before. We'll have the lyrics on the screen. It's 188. We're going to practice one time all together. All right? So have we got the lyrics? There they are. All right, everybody, let's just take the, do you want to play it once through?
Okay.
Or we'll do the, yeah, let's play it once through. All right, here we go. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no peril and of despair. Come, yet again, come. All right, now we're going to do this round. Divide into two. You're going to be with Pastor Dave, who's going to lead us off, and you're going to sing with me. Let's see who's better. All right, go ahead.
It's nice when we have some unplanned unity. Well, hello again. I'm Mariela Gonzalez. I use she and they pronouns, and I am bringing a message today that is going to introduce a time of congregational sharing. So I'll explain a little bit about that. First, I want to start with talking about listening. When I talk about listening, I am not referring simply to the act of hearing. I'm using this term listening broadly to include observation and attention with multiple senses. When one practices listening skillfully, it can be like artistry. But I don't want to focus only on the art of listening today, but it's important to mention now because I'm going to invite us to tell some things to each other. So when someone is telling, the rest of us will be listening. To listen is to turn our attention toward yourself first, and then to the other person. I recommend turning attention to yourself when you're listening because your experience of another person's story is going to be filtered through your perception. So that self-awareness that you have, noticing your reactions and noticing them with grace and lightness is the key to bringing curiosity toward another person. We join this community in different ways and at different times. I first came here about 2015 on a Memorial Day weekend. And then I was a member for a little while and I've had changes and now I'm back. I was able to join when the community became mostly online because I was living like an hour and a half away, but I'm glad I still get to come sometimes and experience and have experienced this beautiful place. So we turn that curiosity toward ourselves and then to another person, noticing our reactions and holding them lightly. So one example that I have of needing to be gentle with myself and curious about my reactions, it often happens when my kiddo is talking to me in the morning while we're waiting for the school bus. He likes to tell me all the details of his favorite TV shows, which are often not my favorite TV shows. And I might notice myself being a little bit impatient with his talking. And rather than being judgmental about that impatience, I want to be curious with myself and say, what's going on for me that I'm having trouble listening to him right now? I realized at that moment it was related to that I had been composing an email in my head and was ready to say something. And it is something I need to write at some point. I do need that, but at the moment, my value was spending that time with my kid and listening to him. So I was able to be curious with myself, tell myself I'm going to be able to do that work later, and then I could keep my attention on my kid and his energy and his excitement about all of the TV shows that he loves. So maybe while we share together, you might notice your energy around something, someone's sharing excitement. You might notice disagreement, different experiences, impatience. Remember what Dave said in the beginning, you're okay to wiggle. You can move a little bit if you're feeling a little restless, and just be gentle with yourself. Another way to settle some of those restless parts of you is just notice your breath. Take some calming breaths, mindful breathing, keep open posture as you're able. And I want you to pay attention to what do you see, what do you hear, what do you sense, and how do you feel when people are telling their stories. That will be our art of listening today. Okay? The other thing I want to talk about is the art of telling. The art of telling is also an important skill, a tool for communicating in relationships. I'm inspired today by women who've come out as lesbians because it is Lesbian Visibility Day. And these women have been inspirational in the queer community to live as their authentic selves. They were key in building community and seeking justice on the front lines of pride marches and provided companionship early in the AIDS epidemic. It isn't easy to come out and tell the world who you are. I actually waited until my now wife and I were planning a wedding before I came out to him. And many same-gender loving couples have had their weddings here in this building. I remember I saw pictures after marriage equality passed that there were several people who celebrated their nuptials here. And Allison and I got married here too in 2018, so a few years later. So this is a very special place. So I hope that we can share our stories of being here at Tree of Life as it has taken shape in our ongoing journey. Some of us join with physical presence here, some of us connect virtually, some of us do both. And though we experience the space differently, this material place has been a reality for us, and the location is changing. And I want an opportunity to acknowledge that. Acknowledgement is a powerful tool so that things are not ignored or minimized or exaggerated. It's just to hold with acceptance and acknowledge what has happened. It's important for the teller and for the listener who is reflecting back. So I want to introduce two frameworks for telling. The first is more about stories from the past. It's that where do you know from? It's adapted from the work of Eugenia Zarowski with language from Catherine McKittrick. And it's a way of telling your story, where do you know from, with sensitivity for participants who are often asked, where do you come from? Implying that you don't come from here, you're different than me. But where do you know from recognizes that we all have diversity. We represent a community that is interconnected but brings diverse knowings from. I am not from here at Tree of Life in McHenry, but I'm also from here at Tree of Life in McHenry, and I know from this place and this people. Knowing from people, relationships, experience, and places is a way we sense our community, our interconnectedness. As Heather said, we also know from in our embodied experience. So where you know from your mom or your dad might be in your nose or your voice or your hair color. What you know in your body might be right now the nervousness that's coming on as you're thinking, oh, I'm going to share in front of this community. I'm getting like jittery and excited about telling my story. So you know from your growing, from your breath, from your senses. So I have a slide about where do you know from, if we could put that up real quick. Thank you. Sorry, it's small. So you begin with placing yourself in community by introducing your name and what you would like people to call you, which we often do when we share joys and concerns, and tell your pronouns, what pronouns you would like us to use for you. And then where do you know from? So just take a moment as I read these questions to reflect on the time you've had as Tree of Life has been in this iteration. So what are the places and people that have been part of your growing? Has it been the sanctuary? Has it been classrooms downstairs? Has it been having the stained glass returned to the building and you look at the beautiful pictures? What are the places and people that have been part of your growing? Where have you found purpose? Where have you found creativity? We've been in a community for a long time. Where has there been sorrow? I know that there's people that I've loved in this group who are not here today. Where has there been struggle? It's been a struggle to maintain life and stay in this building, and we've made a change because of that. But what has been worth the struggle, and what has not been worth the struggle? And where have you thrived? And then as you've grown in your spirituality, what is your spiritual faith, religious heritage? Maybe you came into this place from a different tradition, and now you found your home in Unitarian Universalism and in this community. So what is it currently? What is your spirituality currently? And where do your ideas of holy come from? I really connect to nature, and I've loved that we have these beautiful windows that often distract me during the service, but I still love them. And my idea of holy comes from being close to nature. So these questions come from those educators who want to place us in community. I've also added some of my own questions that you see here that I use for storytelling with chaplain students. The goal is to recognize our identity as relational beings. We've been part of various communities, and now we are in this one. So I'm hoping some of us will choose to tell about being part of Tree of Life in this community as it has been, and acknowledge that it is changing. Due to time, I'm going to ask you not to answer every single question, but maybe you pick one. So for example, I found creativity during an art day here. I got an abstract painting of a house. They had vendors like lining the side area, and there's some paintings. I got an abstract painting of a house, and it was one of my first contributions to Allison's apartment space. And then maybe I knew back then that I would build a home with her. And this community was part of launching that for me. So I have another framework to talk more about what is happening now, and that comes from nonviolent communication, which was developed by Marshall Rosenberg. Nonviolent communication is framed this way because it wants carefulness to notice one's own perspective and not to project or infer. So it starts with observations. So something to name factual things that are happening, not assumptions, judgments, hyperbole. So we have sold the building. It's a concrete observation. It has happened. I'm not making a statement of judgment about it. It's just a fact. And then feelings. So want to stick with what is happening in you, avoid feeling words that suggest blame toward another person. So you wouldn't say, I feel trapped, because that would say someone is trapping me. But I feel scared. That's feelings within me. So I want to stick to those feelings in nonviolent communication. And then you want to relate that feeling to your core need, a core human need, something like safety or belonging or peace or support or autonomy. And then the last step is to make a request, ask for action. So I'm going to give you an example, my observation. We are moving to a new space, and I am feeling nervous. So the reason and my need that goes along with those nervous feelings is I need to know that I'm going to belong in a new place and be in a location that I don't have the same history with. And so my request is, could you all check in on me and see how I'm doing as we move? Okay. If I'm not joining and you haven't seen me in a while, look out for me. Ask me, aren't you going to come to Ridgefield? And that is my request. So I offer these two frameworks to invite us to an extended joys and concerns. So we can think about, I want to tell a story of their time in this building, and I want to answer one of these questions, where I have found purpose, where I know from at Tree of Life, where there's been struggle or sorrow, where there's been thriving, where I've made changes in my spirituality through being in this community, in this space. So just think about one of those. Or if you want to practice the nonviolent communication and share your observation, your feeling, your need, and any requests you have for the community. So I am going to invite you to do that during Joys and Concerns, which I'm going to introduce in just a few seconds here. So we're going to go right into that. So you can either come up with a joy and concern as you would on any given Sunday, or if you would like to share something you know from about this time here in McHenry, or as you've joined online and have experienced a space that way, or thinking about your feelings right now in the moment and moving forward. Does that make sense? Any questions? Okay. So we'll have I'm hoping we have plenty of time. I tried not to be long, okay? So, The sharing of our joys and concerns is a sacred moment to help us grow in community. We invite you to share a few short sentences about your joy or concern. Like a stone dropped in the water reminds us that what affects one ripples out and touches us all. Those of you in the sanctuary with a joy or concern or memory or feeling, I invite you to form a line in the aisle, and Usher will help with the microphone, followed by online participants who can raise your hand, and when I call on you, please unmute yourself.
My name is Judy Ayers. I just want to tell you, 8 years ago, my husband passed away. He was a member of the church and stewardship committee and so forth. But what I remember the most was after he died, he brought he and I to this church. He was, I shouldn't say raised a Unitarian, but his parents were Unitarians, Madison, but he died, and I said, I'm not going to go to church without Dad. And they said, yes, you are. And I said, no, I'm not, because we've got too many memories just going to church in the car. We'd get about a mile away, and he'd say, would you give me my Altoids? So I handed him 2 or 3, and he'd say, perfect 3. So then I would take 3. But I did come to church the next week. I cried all the way to church. But when I walked in this door, all I remember is the love. I'm not kidding. Everybody. The love I felt, and then to this day, I still feel the same love of this church. I'm not going to be sad that we're leaving this church, but I'm carrying all the memories with me. It's a beautiful church. It's beautiful. My friends are here, and now that I live further away, I'll come when I can. But I just want to say the love that I feel when I come to this church.
All right, thank you for permitting me to be up here. I would love to practice the nonviolent communication. I'm kind of excited by that idea. Could I ask for that slide to go back up? All right. My name is Heather Medaus. I know you've already heard from me. I use she, her pronouns. And I would like to share a concern. My observation is, I had surgery on my rotator cuff in December. And I'm feeling frustrated. I have great range of motion. I do not have a lot of strength in my arm yet. And if I overdo it, which pretty much means lifting more than a cup of coffee, then I set myself back and I strain my muscles and I have to go backwards and start all over again. So that is very frustrating. So what I really need from all of us here is to remind me that I had surgery and that I am not strong as I expect myself to be. I need people to mind me, to say, hey, Heather, don't lift that. Nope, Heather, I have that. So that would be what I'm asking of you, is that as my community, you help me remind myself to be careful. Thank you.
I am Sue Reckenthaler, she, her pronouns. Our Compassion for Campers program started right after we moved into this church. We are in huge transition with that program. We have lost our home at the Community Resource Center because they are taking a break for the summer and reevaluating what they want to do in the fall. So for the summer, while our congregation knows where we're moving to, Compassion for Campers doesn't. So for a short time, we will be able to empathize more with our homeless folks that we serve, because we don't know where we're going to be camping. Also this week, the county denied our request for funding because, according to one of the members of the committee, what our funding does is enables the homeless not to go out looking for work, and we're making it too comfortable for them. So I want to thank everybody here who has been so supportive of what we're doing, but we're in a state of flux and transition, and borrowing from the nonviolent communication, I am feeling very angry. I will not rip anybody's heart out and show it to them before they hit the ground. And I ask for your help and patience in finding us a new place to set up, and your continued, right now, just financial support, because we don't know where we will be storing physical things. And like I said, I remember sitting shortly after we moved in here and bringing this proposal to the church council. So our program is, while we don't know where we're going, I know I can count on all of you to support wherever it is that we end up. So thank you.
Please don't bring out the tissue, because I start getting emotional when I talk about such things. So I got married in the old church in Woodstock, you know, that this church came from. So I have memories there. And then I have memories here. Just, you embraced me and accepted me unconditionally. And so many of you, you know, have helped me along the way. I'm sorry. But nothing but warmth and love whenever I walk in the door. And I can't tell you how much that means to me. You know, so many of you have helped me with my campaign and have showed up for me, and I have done nothing but try to be as authentic as I can, you know, and be as truthful as I can with in everything I engage in. And one of the things that's happening right now at the county is that, and so using that language is that I'm feeling very angry about the way things are happening with how we fund services, community services. There has been a large shift that has happened since I've been on the board. So one of the things that is going on right now is that they pretend that homelessness does not matter. And what they're doing is they're working on projects that support workforce housing. So when that terminology came up, I said, workforce housing, the idea is that they want people who work in McHenry County to be able to live in McHenry County. So if you listen very closely, you have to be able to be working for them to think that you matter. So if you don't matter, if you're not working, you don't matter. And now, part of that change has happened with the political shift, because we have people that think that just because you happen to be homeless, you don't matter to the economy, you're not contributing to it. So, like the grant that Compassion for Campus got that one year, we had a different group of people that was deciding how that money was distributed. So I don't want to, and that group has been gone now. The old leader was terminated. We have a new leader there, and the focus is totally different. And I have called them on this every step of the way and said, what about the people who don't fit into a home, who can't, for some reason, they're not going to be able to stay at a shelter or get an apartment, or we have people who are living in their cars and in parks, and to pretend that they don't exist, I think, is more than irresponsible. I think it's evil, actually. And we have examples throughout the country where there have been cities that have taken steps to help people who are homeless, not the workforce housing group, but the people who are not in homes. There are dozens of examples, you know. Evanston has done some really amazing things. Rockford has done some amazing things. Portland, Oregon has done things where they've done things like little homes and things like that, and single occupancy rooms and those kinds of things. So there are some creative things that we can do, and we have the money to do it. We have the money to do it. So the only thing that I would say to you is, when we're making decisions about who we are going to elect as our leaders, look at the people who are going to be doing the work that we're supposed to be doing in government, and that is taking care of the elderly, taking care of people who may be poor and who may be homeless, and that's what government is all about. So that's my concern, that's my anger and my concern, and also it's my mission. And I'm so happy that I know that I have the support of the church. So thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Till Spitza, and I'm graduating from Prairie Ridge High School in a few weeks. But I'd actually like to share a concern, because I don't know if I mentioned it before, I'm in psychology class. It's one of the last psychology classes our school is offering. It's been repeatedly cut down, and one of the things that we've been talking about in that class, like the whole class discussions, really has been how my teacher just wants to help us. Because over the past few years, things have happened in schools, we've gotten more technologically advanced, and I am legitimately worried for the next generation of students, because for the first time in over 100 years, there's this thing called the Flynn effect, where we gradually get smarter, and for the first time, as of a few years ago, we're not. It's dropped. And I am angry with how things are going with our district. And he said that, my teacher said that we have the power to change this. And knowing what I know now about what this technology is really doing, it really scares me, because right now it's like, you know, you have to get a 4.0 GPA and like 2 degrees and a master's to get a decent job, but it's like that's happening without you actually knowing anything now, because of artificial intelligence and such, and all people see in Crystal Lake is just numbers. That's what defines you. And I'm just, I'm worried, but I'm empowered, because I think that our class of 2026, at least in that room, the 30 of us, I think we have the ability to make a change.
Hi, I'm Teresa, she, her pronouns. I'm going to try to be a little bit lighter. We got a lot of... so I just want to share like memories of this church and of this building. So it was, Mary and I moved into this area like 24 years ago or something. And for a short time, we went to this congregation when it was in Woodstock. But for whatever reason, we fell away. And my memory is, so 13 years ago, I started a job. And my manager at the time, we were having a conversation, and she mentioned that she was Unitarian, and she lives in Evanston and goes to the Unitarian Church in Evanston. And I was like, oh, you know what? I was, for a short time, we were going to a Unitarian church. And so I was like, I'm going to look them up. And I found out that y'all had moved to this building, and so we started attending again. And really enjoyed it. And then when marriage equality passed, Mary and I were one of the 4 couples that got married here. And I remember at the time, we hadn't been a part of the congregation that long. And I don't know if it comes from like my Catholic background, being like guilty or like whatever. And I remember, like, I probably haven't even said this to Mary, but I remember at the time I kind of felt like, it's like, wow, it's really nice for these people that I don't even know that well to like be doing all this for us. It you know, was so touching. So that's one of my main memories of being here, and just saying that, you know, Mary and I we have like 3 or 4 different anniversaries of, you know, that we celebrate. And this Tuesday or Wednesday, we celebrated our, like, the time that we've been together. So like the grand one, it's 34 years. So.
Congratulations. Hi, I'm Irene Raven. My pronouns are she, her. Last week, I think it was last week, I mentioned that my sister has a form of cancer. She did see her doctor. This is my sister Mary. She's 6 years younger than I am. And so she's the first person in our family of 8 to have cancer. And I do think of it as the big C. Anyway, she saw her doctor and she taped it. And she has uterine cancer, and they're going to do a full hysterectomy, so everything. And she'll have 6 weeks recovery. She, you know, it's hard to deal with this. You're thinking, oh, well, they caught it. Listening to her and seeing, I just now am somewhat concerned and fearful, because it could be very serious. I'm always thinking, well, think the lighter thing, but based on the conversation. And of course, they will not know that until they go in and do, I guess, biopsies on different things. So I guess part of it is I'm now even more so struggling with age, our mortality, aging, illness, less mobility. I made this decision last week that because of all of that, I need to sell my house and move, but I'm not in a hurry. I'm going to spend a year, getting rid of stuff. So hold her in your heart, please. Thursday will be the operation. She's just listening to her talk to the doctor, I was so impressed with her keeping her focus on, working the problem. Secondly, I would like to talk a little bit about this congregation. Hold on, I gotta find my cheat sheet here. I appreciate you're giving me something to cheat sheet with. I want to talk about something that's been very important to me and has helped so much, I feel, in my growth as a human being, and that is Chalice Circles. And a shout out to Emmy for keeping that growing. Thank you so much. I feel that that has helped me so much in being a better listener, and I'm working real hard at being a better teller. But I feel that it has helped me shift my focus from it's all about me to it's all about us. And I just feel that has just been such a tremendous marker in my growth as my continued growth. I'm not going to say I got there, but I'm working on it. My growth as a human being. Thanks.
My name is Lisa Messinger. I use she, her pronouns. I woke up this morning and got really sad about leaving this building. And as I was driving up, I was flooded with lots of memories. Till and I started attending here about 10 years ago. Maybe a little bit longer. Like maybe 12 years ago. It was soon after we moved into this building, and Till's really grown up in this congregation in this building, so we have lots of memories. So I just wanted to share with you a few memories that popped into my head this morning. We had a sleep out for Compassion outside of the building here one night, and basically the youth that were with us and the adults, the idea was to experience what it might be like to be homeless for that night, and then the youth shared the following morning what that felt like and what their experience was. I also had, as I was walking through the basement there, had a vivid memory of after the 2016 election. We had a social justice meeting, and we were in that that small room down there, and it was standing room only. There wasn't enough space for everybody who wanted to show up, that was concerned right after that election. And the following, I would say a few months later, we had a Justice for All ball where we raised money for causes that we thought would be impacted or impactful after that election, where we had a band come out and play, and we had a celebration. And that was the brainchild, I think, of Janet Burns largely, and so I've been thinking about her a lot lately as well. And then seeing Till give his faith statement at coming of age, which I know is going to happen with many of our youth next week, which is very exciting. So lots of memories that are associated with this building, but also lots of memories with this congregation, even outside the building. One in particular is going out to remember to the Pine Ridge Reservation and our service trip there. And so as I'm thinking about memories, I'm also remembering that there have been lots of wonderful, compassionate experiences that aren't necessarily part of this building, but are definitely part of this congregation. So I thank you all for that.
Hi, Ivy Sidkowski, she, her pronouns. So I've been thinking about two memories. One, of course, is the cookie walk. And so I had volunteered to chair that year, 2 years ago? The year before last. And I didn't know anything. I hadn't done it before. Mary Robinson and Mike Stow were like angels sent from heaven they did so much to help. But on that day that we had the cookie walk, all of these different people, there were so many people that volunteered to bake and to help. And I was standing at the table where people came in, and I was just standing there looking at all the support that I had and how it was like this well-oiled machine. Everybody was doing what they were supposed to be doing, pitching in. And I just had this feeling of elation. It was just, what we can do together is just amazing. And we can do that in another space as well, even though I have lots of photos, which I'm going to send to Judy, of the cookie walk here, and those will always be precious memories for me, but because of the people, I know we can do that someplace else. The other memory it's a much smaller story, and it's really about the power that one person has. And there's a little confession in here too. So I think a couple of years after I joined the choir, we put on this big performance. It was in commemoration of something, and I cannot remember what it was, but we did a big show with lots of different, we went through the decades. I think it was some anniversary, 15-year anniversary, I don't know. Anyway, it was a really big show. Now, confession time. This is hard. I always considered myself the weak link in the choir. Everybody was so talented, and I struggled through, but I was always kind of like, they're letting me stay, but I'm not very good. And so we were putting on this show, and a group of women were doing Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy for I guess it was the 40s. And so I went to rehearsals, and then on the night of the show, I missed an email that we were supposed to get there 10 minutes earlier or something, because we were going to have choreography. So I got there at the originally designated time and found out that I actually was late because I hadn't seen the email. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot do this. Forget it. I'm just not going to do it. I can't learn it that quickly. And I'm going to name the person. It was Sue Kozlowski. She stepped in immediately and said, no, you stay. We are going to teach this to you. You can do this. And they did teach it to me, and I was able to perform with the group, and it was one of the most enjoyable times I've had here. But it was a turning point for me too, because one person cared, and the power of one person caring to me was a turning point. And I know now that just about everybody in the congregation would have done the same thing. I didn't realize that at the time, and I know also that I can do that for others. So that is a very, very precious memory to me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Susie. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm going to try and get through this. It has been a challenging couple months. And, oh no, it's already happening. One of the questions that came across to me in the service as I heard, like, where does your concept of holy come from? And as a kid, who was a pastor's kid before I can even remember, and lived in the church pretty much, it feels like. One time my brother and I, we tried to calculate all the hours we spent cumulatively in churches and going to parochial schools and chapel and like all the things. Not to mention, I then went to school, Bible school for a year before I ended up other places. So before I even stepped away from the church after my own coming to terms with spirituality and things like that. One of the big things that made me step away from church was if I can't bring all parts of me and all parts of my friends to a building, to a community, then I don't want to be a part of that community. And over the years, I've found little places that felt like safe enough, right? But it was never this place where I felt like I could show up fully embodied. It always felt like a place that I had to wear a mask a little bit or talk kind of good enough so that they don't get that we don't share the same beliefs, right? And there's something about, we encountered this community at Pride Fest in Woodstock, and they were giving glitter blessings. And it was, I remember just like a part of me like being like, oh, these people are really, like it was authentic. Like, I don't know if you understand like that, like self-energy authenticity that you get off of people. It's very rare sometimes in our culture, but I felt it, and I knew I was like hesitantly like, I think we might have found people. I think this might be something. So we came here, and then I convinced a friend of mine to come here, and I was like, no, I swear, I think it's safe. That sounds so weird to say, but like, I was like, I'm pretty sure, right? And it was. And over the years, as we have walked lots of different journeys in our family of evolving and stepping into our authentic selves, whether it be myself or my children, we've been welcomed, and we've been held with love, and we've been seen and never tried to be changed. It is a fully embodying that is beyond a church walls. And I think that's what lets me know that this community is going to be okay. Because we are not walls. That's not why people come here. They come to be seen and to be held in relationship. And if anything is holy, that is my definition of holy. It's the interconnection that we share with each other. And I'm so grateful, like really, really grateful to have found all of you. And I know I may not always talk or show up, or I know I haven't been here in like over a month probably. Like, I have been grieving this loss of nurturing in my own life. Both of my parents died. My mother passed away a long time ago, but my father passed away right before I came to this church. And we came to this church, we met you all at Pride Fest, and then I lost my brother-in-law. And so And then I lost my father. And 2 weeks ago, I lost my grandmother, who was my last kind of nurturing adult in my life. But one thing I think that is beautiful about this is that I'm okay. Like, I have moments of grief, but I have people who check on me. I have people who just tell me they've been thinking of me. And, like, I'm gonna be okay. And a big part of that is because of all of you in this room. And I really do appreciate it, from book club friends who, you know, and to the people who we always need to fidget over there, or people who are like, come do this. It's such a different feeling. I've been in churches where they're like, we want you to do this, or we want you to do that. But it's always been an overextended. And this place, they want to include you, but they never want you to overextend yourself. Give from a place of yes. And I think that is holy. When we can do relationships right, when we can truly see people, that is my concept of holy. So thank you for being that.
My name is Amin Karim. My pronounce is he and his. I just sitting there, I know a lot of you, and maybe all of you don't know me. This is not my first time in here. I've been here a few times. I lived in Crystal Lake for 26 years before I moved from Maryland. But anyway, the best part, I couldn't just sit there, is share my story. I thank Terry Capel, who actually introduced me to the men's group that I always, every week, I just wait for when is Thursday coming, because that's a day I live for, okay? So memory is something that's so beautiful. I don't have too many stories or memory like all you guys, but I have a very intense memory where I met, first is Don Mattire, who passed away, and then Wheat, who passed away, and last month, I think it was Dave. I miss those people, really. So Thursday is my day that I wait for, really, to meet these people, the friends that I have met, and they all belong to this church, by the way. So one thing common, and I love that, is they're the people really who welcome me. You know, I belong to a different faith, different values, doesn't matter. But they're the one who showed me, and that, like, it's, you know, I showed me all the paintings in here that, you know, belongs to all the different faiths. It's wonderful. I've been here quite a few times. But I say this, that our life is transition. We move, but we live with memories. Memories never get lost. Something that we cherish in our heart. So no matter where we move to, the memories will be always with us. And we love the people who has passed away. And they're the most memorable things that I hold in my heart. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm going to turn around too because I want to see everybody. My name's Leah. I use she, her pronouns, and it's been said already, but I wanted to say it as well. Like, every single person here, it just embodies love and authenticity and welcome, and constantly challenges me to be a better version of myself, just by who they are. It's not because of some doctrine that says you need to do X and Y. It's sharing their heart, and it's so beautiful and so moving. And so many times I've been presented with an opportunity to grow, and I've been like, oh, I don't want that. and then just through the showing up and the love and the demonstration of what is possible, it helps me grow into that. And I'm so thankful for that. And for my family, my youngest, Wilbur, first came to this church as a little bitty thing, and, would do things like, I'm going to send my teddy bear to summer camp that Heather had set up. It was during COVID, so we couldn't do things in person, but Heather said, hey, bring your teddy bears, and we'll do a virtual summer camp with them. It was the coolest thing. And Wilbur named all their teddy bears very masculine names and then dressed them all in dresses. And I was like, this is a little odd. This is different from what I'm used to. It challenges me. But everybody here was like, oh yeah, that's Bob in the dress. That's cool. And that changed me. It helped me to open up my ideas of gender and sexuality and all of it. And I'm so thankful because it's hugely impacted our family. The other thing is, I'm an only child, and I had just started becoming active in the church, and my dad was dying, and it was COVID, so we couldn't do anything in person. I had just stepped into being board president, and I felt entirely unprepared. And COVID hit, and my dad's dying, and people showed up. Like, they couldn't show up in person, but the food, like, my parents weren't even members, and I was a brand new member. And we were just like, every day, here's some more food, here's another card, we're showing up. Not because they had to, but because that's how they were living who they are. And it made a huge impact for me. And now my mom is declining, and she's at Valley High, and she'll be coming home May 6th. She lives with me. And I'm scared, and it's bringing up a lot of things from when my dad was dying. But, Sue came and visited my mom, and Dave's come and visited my mom, and I know that it's going to be okay because I have all of you holding me through it. So thank you.
There was a chat from Laura Cantelli. She wrote, the church is moving and I'm sad. I have minimum connection to the church and the building. I've been there a few times and remain connected through the fellowship committee, planning, Chalice Circle. As I am not there in person, meetings and tours of Ricklepick, I'm feeling more disconnected as planning and moving moves forward. I ask that you reach out from time to time and remind me that I am part of the church and I belong. And we also have Lisa.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Lisa, she, hers pronouns. I grew up in Skokie, so I went to a big event and for teenagers to feel safe, and this chick was like, my mom has her church where the rabbi shows up and this and that, and I'm like, how freaking cool is that? So fast forward, in my heart I was always a Unitarian, but 2019 came and I moved to McHenry as, a blessing now that I see that, but going through a divorce, going through a lot of stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, there's a freaking Unitarian church, right by me. How cool is that? So here I walk in the doors of, Tree of Life, like 10 blocks from my house. And little did I know that someone with depression, anxiety, low self-esteem would start their spiritual journey walking through those doors. And listening to everyone today, I didn't realize how impactful that was on my beginning. And I'm standing taller, I'm doing things, and that's because I had the Chalice Circle. I laughed my butt off doing the committees, because as we know, we have committees for everything. But the church has just made such an impact. And um, as we know, we lost so many people that have gone through those doors for years. And two of my dearest, memories were, Whit just sitting there. I sat on the couch and Whit was just telling me all his beautiful stories of his family. And, he was so passionate about traveling. And then if you knew her, you loved her, Janet. You couldn't forget about Janet. And I'm listening to you guys today. And because of all the deep listening and all the beautiful things I've learned through these doors at the church, that you learn the best lessons from listening. And I always felt listened to. Little did I know at that time I was, little did I know at that time with my insecurities, but I was loved, I was appreciated. And one of the best gifts is that I was going through some hardship of finding myself and my kids through a divorce and through brokenness. And Janet came up and she was always giving sweet little thoughtful gifts. But one day she's like, this is from the church because, I know you're going through a hard time and your church is with you. And it was a blanket that they created years ago. So as we all know, senses are important. I have this blanket still, and I was given the years I've had feelings and I'm like, that's not right. That's not right. Well, I want to bring that blanket back to the new church because I don't need that blanket. I don't need, that because I've been shown love. I've been shown the tools and taken the tools that I needed walking through those doors to stand on my own. And I would love to give that now to the church in their new building. And just, even though I'm giving that blanket away, the nonviolent communication is still check on me. If you haven't heard from me and I am going through my own spiritual messages and heart and learning, to check on me and say, you know what, we're thinking about you. I miss you. I want to learn about your new person because I love myself more than ever. And it started with those chalice circles and the love that I had walking in those doors 7 years ago. So thank you. And I love each one and every one of you.
Let us now honor the unexpressed joys and concerns that remain in our hearts for the space of 3 deep breaths.
Each week as we worship, we welcome the offerings that support the work of this community, much of which you've already heard from. Many of us have already given our monetary gifts electronically. Still, we set aside this time for the spiritual practice of gratitude. Online participants, you may give your offerings in one of 3 ways that are listed on the screen. For those of you in the sanctuary, place your offering in the plate, or if you've already given, simply show your gratitude by passing it to your neighbor. If you're new to Tree of Life, please let this giving opportunity pass you by. Your presence is your gift to us. We'll have the whirlwinds playing the Skyboat song. The offering will now be received. In whatever way you give, your generosity is greatly appreciated. We give thanks for these gifts and all the gifts that you bring to us. And now, please rise in body or spirit as you're able. Hymn number 108, it's in the green hymnal, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. I will now extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame of communal worship and now carry its light within us. We share this light. We carry its warmth to all whom we meet.
So we're going to close things out a little bit differently today. We are going to do a recessional. Some of the things that we're used to seeing that are familiar when we come into the building each week, we're going to walk out today. And when we worship for the first time in Ridgefield, we'll be walking some of those in before we celebrate Flower Communion. So we'll be taking our Joys and Concerns bowl, and we'll be taking our chalice, we'll be taking our Wonderbox, and there's some folks that were kind of pre-selected for those parts. But now I need actually some volunteers. And one role that I need is somebody who's a little tech comfortable and has a smartphone and would be willing to log online and stand at the entrance so that the people online can also see the recessional, because we're actually going to walk these things out of the room and set them on a door or a table that's between the doors. You might have seen as we came in. And for those who are willing and able and would like to, we'll gather around the memorial garden, do just a short gratitude and blessing there, and sing Spirit of Life together before we join our fellowship. Anybody who just wants to sit and wait for us to come back from there, you're welcome to do that as well. But I'll need one person. Is there anybody who's willing to be our tech? Awesome. So you just need to position yourself near the entrance and exit. And just remember not to walk while you've got the camera on. Whoa! And then we'll need one person who's willing to walk some of the banners out. We've actually got 7 banners up. There's this one, this one, this one, this one, that one, and this one. And Ron's actually going to help hand those to people. But 7 people who'd be willing to be part of that recessional. Yeah, come on up till we've got the 7. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, we've got 6. We need one more. We need one more. Anybody from the side in our room over there willing to be part of our recessional and walk a banner out? Awesome. Ron will hand them to you when we get to that. So for the moment, just wait to the side. Yeah, because we haven't started this part yet. So a little bit of more of what's going to happen. So I'll do a short prayer. I'll ring our bell that usually begins our service. Many of you know Sam Jones has loaned this and now donated this to our congregation. So I'll ring the bell for the last time in this space. Bill will start some music. He's going to start with a little bit of Gather the Spirit, and then he'll move into just Bill's skilled improvisation, and we'll start walking these things out. Ron will lead us, and I will go last with the chalice, and then we'll just go from front row towards the back. Does that make sense? So sorry to give you all those directions at once, but it will. I think we can remind you as we go. So again, thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for all that you shared, not only today, but during the last 15 years here, for the years that preceded that, and all that we'll share going forward. There were memories that were formed today. I will always remember Zayden and Des and Victor at the Wonderbox and finding some additional wonder, as well as just how wonderful the three of them are with each other, and to know that that is not a part of our congregation that ends but is just beginning. So God, join me in a moment of prayer and reflection and meditation. God, Goddess of many names, Spirit of life and abundant love, mystery and awe that is beyond naming and cannot be named. We are people in the midst of change. Change in our lives, change in our nation and in our world, change in our congregation, a living and ever-changing journey. May we find the balance in creating the world we dream of and loving the joy and the beauty that simply is. Embracing the new and the possible, and carrying the life lessons from days already lived. Carrying the love and the legacy that's been passed on to us again and again. May we carry this community with us when we are apart from one another and when we are together again. May we be grateful for the affirmation that being in this community brings, no matter where we are. And may we continue to grow and change in love together. May we continue to bring one another hope and healing together. May we continue to disrupt injustice together. As we leave this time and space together, we know that we leave this time and space changed for the better and changed for the good. Amen. Ashe, and blessed be.